bites, eat, sip, watch. Patios like the outdoor atmosphere will give you your fix for bold flavors and good times. Patio at In Resort, April 4th.
Where the F everybody been on YouTube? Let's go, man. Let's wake this thing up. Let's go. What's happening? Radio's getting lazy in Vegas, Bobby. It's getting really effing lazy, man. There's just not a lot. This town should be exploding with Golden Knights, Raiders draft, Golden Knights Stanley Cup. Let's go, man. Let's effing go, right? Let's go. Have that OHTANI walk-off, please.
Visit our website at pgnmd.com. See the free cost savings analysis now. That's pgnmd.com. Or call our Las Vegas office at 702-740-4380.
All righty. Hey, today's my wife's birthday. How cool is that? Big day, my wife's birthday. Very excited for that. Yeah, Cisco, today be a good day for a John Vella call from some people. I get really disappointed when I don't hear from fans on the passing of a Raider legend. So, you know. Matter of fact, I'm going to text Phil Villapiano right now.
I've guided my son Jacob through life, from teaching him how to ride a bike to his first day of school. Now, we guide our clients through their real estate journey. We ask the right questions to fit your needs. Whether you're
I'm texting him right now.
Residential, commercial, land, or in need of a property manager. We offer cash advances with no interest, handle all repairs up front, or we will buy your distressed property within 24 hours if needed. And for buyers, we negotiate the best deals to find you the perfect home. So call the Real Estate Guy today. We'll help you ride smoothly through your real estate.
I got about 7 or 8 alumni that texted me on John Vella yesterday. So I'm texting a few of them back right now.
To see our amazing reviews. eXp Realty license number 38886. Call for details.
Talk to Aaron Taylor,
The Real Estate Guy.
On this YouTube channel, we don't have a lot of bells and whistles and digital waves and all bullshit. It's just a raw radio show, which I love. You're watching how I do this every day. I appreciate you coming in. There's no magic tricks like some of these other bullshit shows that have 7 people talking at once and all these fake teleprompters and shit. We go balls out, hardcore sports for a couple hours a day. I'm prepared. You're prepared. Anything you want to talk about, I'm ready to talk about. Yes, Thor, good to see you back. Thor, I got my ass kicked that last night of the cruise, man. 103 fever, chills, still a little stuffy, but I'm coming out of it.
You're listening to the JT the Brick Show, where the Raider Nation has come to sound off and react for over 20 years.
It's the JT the Brick Show, broadcasting live from the Finley Cadillac Performance Studio, your silver and black home to sound off for over 25 years. And now, here's JT the Brick.
Out of the gate, JT, today as we begin Thursday, April 3rd, 2025, from the flagship of the Silver and Black Raider Nation Radio. Hope you're having a great day today. I'm coming out of the cruise cough, the cruise fog, everything. I'm coming out of it. It's taken me about 5 days, but I'm seeing the other side. I hope everybody's doing good today. I'm going to go balls out today. I love this show that Bobby and I put together today. We have the newsmen going to join us today. We got 3 guests who are all involved in either play-by-play or news. Harry Ruiz, the Latino voice of the Silver and Black, also the voice of USC football. He's going to join us. Kevin Bollinger, the sports director at Fox 5. He's a big shot. He's a sports director in town. And then one of my favorite newsmen, Dana Wagner from News 3 LV. He comes on a couple of times a year. 2 out of our 3 guests, Dana and Harry, want to talk Dodgers and OHTANI. Wow. Will the Dodgers ever lose? Which is a big topic I'm going to get into in the monologue. And I'm serious, too. They look like they're supposed to win every bleeping game they play by a lot. Did you ever play Little League or coach Little League and show up to a Little League game and there's a bunch of kids warming up and they all look like they're 6 foot? And then all your kids on your Little League team are all like 4'11", and you're like, oh boy, we are going to get destroyed, and you do. And the game is over in the second inning, and it's called the 10-run rule. The game's over. You know it. The mom's sitting down, the dads who are eating sunflower seeds and sneaking beers and red Solo cups. They know the game's over before it starts. That's what it's starting to look like with the Dodgers. They are buying a championship, which I'm okay with because I'm a Yankee fan. We bought ours too. We're not spending the money. We spend a lot, the Yankees, but not at the rate of the Dodgers. So the Dodgers are completely engrossed in buying several championships, which you're allowed to do. So I'm not crying about it. I'm not whining about it. I did a show the other day. The Dodgers are not in my head. Yankees have 27 championships. The Dodgers only have 8. Let me repeat that. The Yankees have 28. The Dodgers have 8. 27. The Dodgers have 8. So your great-great-great-grandparents won't catch the Yankees if you're a Dodger fan. So don't act like you're in my head. You're not. But I'm very concerned because I don't think the Dodgers are going to get beat. The Dodgers, I talked about this with Bobby before the show started. Bobby and I agree. He's a big Red Sox fan. I'm a Yankee fan. The Dodgers could win 5 World Series in a row. They're going, remember Jeter won 5? It feels like the Dodgers can win 5 in a row because they just won 1, and they can win 4 in a row easily. I'm worried about that because I'm not a Dodger fan. I also, Bobby, ruffled a lot of feathers because Dodger fans waited in line for 7 hours for a 30-cent. It costs 30 cents to make the OHTANI bobblehead. Doesn't cost $1 to make it. It costs 30 cents to make it, and grown-ass men waited in line. I mean, the line was bigger than any line you've ever seen in your life at an amusement park. And I had to explain to people because I should have just left it alone. Why am I even commenting on this? But I reminded people, if you're a grown-ass man and you wait in line for a bobblehead, I got a problem. Yeah. Now, not if you wait in line with kids, or not if you're a grown-ass man and you wait in line for a bobblehead to give to kids. So I had to clarify that because, but if you're a grown-ass man and you're like 42 years old and you wait in a 6-hour line for a bobblehead, yeah, I do have a problem with that, and I don't care what you think. That to me is really weird stuff. It's really weird. Now, if you get a bobblehead when you walk through the gate, Bobby, and you just, you park, you walk through the gate, they give you a bobblehead. You're like, oh, okay, this is cool. I'll give it to the kid next to me. I love you. But if you wait in line for 6 hours as a grown-ass man for a bobblehead and you don't give it to a kid, I got a little bit of a problem with that. That's just me. Okay, again, I don't collect toys. I don't collect toys, but my kids do. I probably got 50 bobbleheads in my house for my kids, Manny Wood and Yankee bobbleheads too, but I would stay in line and hold my kids' hands when they were like 4 years old and get them bobbleheads. And there was an aerial shot. There was a helicopter shot at Chavez Ravine with like 30,000 people waiting for this OHTANI bobblehead. And I know you could sell it. And if you got it and it costs 30 cents to make in China, 30 cents. And then it's probably worth $30, and you can sell it for maybe $200. Okay, if waiting in line for 6 hours to make $200 is okay, you do you. You do you. But there's a lot of things in sports that people do that I wouldn't do. But there are other things that I do that people in sports wouldn't do. And I'm an opinionated sports talk host. I'm not here to win everyone over. I'm here to give opinions. But the Dodgers are making me nervous, man. They just look. Man, they look unbeatable. We got Warriors-Lakers. Wow. A lot of our listeners tonight are excited about the Warriors and the Lakers, so we'll get into that. And there's a lot of other things I want to do today. So I want to go big today. Yesterday during the show, right around this time, 24 hours ago, we got the news that John Vella passed away. The iconic Raider, one of the greatest Raiders of all time, is a human being and a very good player. He was elite in college at USC. Elite. All-American, great player, went to the Raiders, and he started some games. He backed up some games. He's part of the Super Bowl 11 team. The point I wanted to make here is we open up the show here, and the monologue's brought to you by PTs. They fuel the monologue, as you know, 5 to 7, midnight to 2, the best happy hour in town. What I wanted to say about John Vella is, do you all understand the magnitude of this? We lost a member of the Super Bowl 11 team. There are only so many of them left. Okay, do you get what I said there? There's only so many of the men. It's not an infinite number. It's a finite number of men that are still alive that won Super Bowl 11. They are the heart and soul of our Raider alumni. They're everything we have left. All the alumni matter. Once a Raider, always a Raider. But the original Super Bowl winners, we are losing them. And we lost John Vella yesterday. So when you think of that, I ask, it's pretty cool that I have a radio show that can connect with this many fans over, 28 years, that you can say, man, I'm gonna think about John Vella today. I'm gonna light a candle at church, or I'm gonna make a phone call to the show, or I'm just gonna go have a shot of Crown Royal and give him a salute. That's what I like to do, man. I'm not afraid to talk death, because when I know people that pass away, I like to talk about them and the impact that they had. And as I tweeted it out yesterday, and I said, every time I got off the bus at a Raider alumni event in Napa, and John would get off the bus and he'd have some type of Raider Hawaiian shirt on and a really big head and a big head of hair and a big smile, and his smile would just be great, and people would gravitate to him and talk to him under the sun setting in Napa, California, as Mark Davis is grabbing the microphone to speak to the alumni. That's what I'll remember him for. You remember him from Vella's locker room and selling, Raider memorabilia to you, or jerseys, and you probably had a connection with him. And if you weren't able to talk to me about it yesterday, maybe you can let us know today on the impact of John Vella and how great of a player he was at 702-365-9200. So John Vella will be a big part of our topic for the rest of the week here. We're going to mix in a couple of things. All right, here we go with what I want to talk about. Starting now, right now, we are in the wheelhouse of the Raider draft. Okay, it's a sense of urgency right now. It's April 3rd. The draft is April 24th. We don't work Saturday, Sundays, so you take out the weekends. And the amount of shows that I have left, we are on the clock. I want everybody calling in over the next 2 weeks and a half on who do you want to do in the first 3 or 4 rounds. I do not care about your 4th, 5th, 6th round pick. No one does. We don't know who's going to be on the board. Your player you like will not be available. We don't know their name. We don't know who they are. I do not want to take calls on 5th round picks. We need players who are going to come in for Pete Carroll and John Spytek and put this franchise back in the Super Bowl. Okay, not put them back to relevancy. We need draft picks in this draft class that are going to lift the Lombardi Trophy at some point in their Raider career. That's where my expectations are. My expectations are this draft class under John Spytek, Pete Carroll, and Tom Brady. We got to have a couple of young players that win a Super Bowl, not get to the playoffs. Forget about that. We're going to get to the playoffs. Tom Brady, Pete Carroll, and John Spytek, I guarantee you are going to get to the playoffs here pretty quickly. It might not be year 1. It might be year 1. I think it'll be year 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think we're ready to roll. I think they got this framework in place. They got Brock Bowers. They got Max signed. They got a lot of good players. They need more, but they got to start knocking it down in the draft and free agency. We did a little bit of free agency, bringing in Geno. Okay, Geno's here. Everybody's excited about that. Really, everybody seems to be really excited about Geno. Now we got to draft players who bring a Super Bowl to this organization. Those are not high expectations. The Washington Commanders were a 4-win team last year, and they were 60 minutes away from the Super Bowl. They do not have a great roster. They did not. If you lined up last year on opening day, take out Jaden Daniels. I know he's a big part of it. I know that because we had Devontae Adams on opening day. They had Terry McLaurin on opening day, their best wide receiver. You go pound for pound, the Washington Commanders' entire roster, and you line them up toe-to-toe with the Raiders, there wasn't much of a difference. But they got Jaden Daniels. Everything changed. Everything changed. Okay, Geno can compete with Jaden Daniels all day long. Now you look at the rest of the roster, and you try to say to yourself, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? What are they going to do? And I'm wondering what John Spytek is going to do. And I am not sure. A lot of people think it's a lock. They're going to get Ashton Genty. Okay, you can go into that category. I'll put you in this pile. A lot of people want Ket McMillan, the wide receiver out of Arizona. A lot of people. I'll put you in that pile. There are some people that want to trade down. Oh, we got a group of people that want Shador. They want Shador. Or we got people that want Jackson Dart late in the first round by trading back in. So we don't know what's going on here. But the majority of all NFL insiders, the majority think the Raiders are definitely taking Ashton Genty. That's what the NFL insiders think that's going to happen here. So if they take Ashton Genty, I think everybody's good with that. We got a feature running back, an elite featured running back. Elite. And then we're off to the races. I'll get back to that in a second. Phil Villapiano joins me on the passing of his good friend, John Vella. Fu, I know you have a heavy heart on the loss of your friend. Thanks for calling in. How you feeling?
Yeah, JT, I'm feeling like $1 million, JT. I'm down here in Newport Beach, and I'm going through the NFL. Believe it or not, they're actually trying to do something nice for the older guys. So I'm going through all these tests. I don't want to end up like JV. You know what I mean? We're going to talk about JV, but I'm going through these tests, and yes, I got to stop drinking. Yes, I can't go out all night anymore. Everything I like to do is bad. I can't understand that, JT.
Well, Phil, you had a hell of a run, and you're not over yet. You're going to be with us for decades and decades. But I'm happy you're doing that. I know there's a lot of other guys, and we'll keep it private, are going through the same test that you're going through. And the guys who played on your team, your Super Bowl team, we're losing some of them, and some of them are going through some tests like you are. And it just goes to show that you played in an era of football where you took a lot of damage, and you built this sport for all the other great players who came behind you.
Yeah, JT, and it's funny. You talk to these doctors, and they don't get it. We're here and we're trying to. The NFL set it up. I love this thing. It's called the Trust, and everybody is first class. I'm at the Cleveland Clinic. I cannot believe the tests they have. And then these doctors ask me questions like, okay, did you tackle with your head? Are you kidding me? I try to take people's heads off, So it was like, it's really crazy, but I think it's going to be wonderful. I got the test back from my heart. I got a little calcification in there. Mm-hmm. JT, maybe we shouldn't be telling the whole world. Yeah. But anyway, I don't care. I'm going to get rid of that. Maybe they go rude to me. I don't know in my heart.
Well, but you make Phil, hold on. You bring up a good point. Going to the doctor and following instructions, and if the NFL is setting this up for you and your teammates and players older and younger than you, this is an unbelievable opportunity for you to get a health and wellness check. And the Raiders are at the forefront of health and wellness when it comes to their alumni.
They are, and it's wonderful. And, the whole group there led by Shannon, and then Monty Johnson is our player, rep to that. Mm-hmm. The Raiders are doing everything possible to keep us guys alive. And it's a wonderful thing. And, I just crack up at the way I've acted all these years and how bad it was for me. But I don't care. I had a lot of fun doing it. And, we can cut it down a little bit in the fourth quarter.
Absolutely. Phil, tell us about John Vella, please. What was John Vella like when you first met him? Because I look at his bio and how great of a player he was out of USC. We're talking about a hell of a player that comes to the Raiders, and then you start thinking of Henry Lawrence and the great offensive line of Uppy and Shell, and now John Vella is not only a starter and a role player and a backup, but man, it seems like a guy who could do it all for you.
Yeah, and JT, the beauty of John Vella, you couldn't keep him off the field. He was that good. He never made a mistake. I remember, this is so beautiful. I remember L.C. Greenwood. he tried to do that head slap. That's when the head slaps was still legal.
Mm-hmm.
And Bob Brown would take his thumb, that fake cast that he had on his thumb, and stick it in Elsie's ribs and damn near break his ribs. He wouldn't even rush. And JV was Bob was still on the team for 1 year when JV got there, and JV learned all of Bob Brown's offensive, offensive tackle. When you say offense, you said Bob Brown, and you also would say JV. So JV learned from the best. He would punish the guys that thought they could head slap him and, get around him and stuff. He never made a mistake. Him and George Beeler, what a combination on that right side of our Super Bowl team. Great player and one of the nicest guys. JT, like yourself, nobody calls you your real name. You're JT. Everybody called John Vella happy fella. He was just happy all the time. And let me give you the one time he got pissed at me. And this I blame on Bob more. But anyway, we come home for Christmas and we get out of practice, and Dave Dalby and John Vella lived right across the hall from us. And they had their whole place decorated with Christmas all around the outside of their door. And we had a key that we got because Bellina Village was brand new at the time. We got a key, a skeleton key that can get in any apartment. So Bobby and I came home. We had no Christmas decorations. So we knew they weren't home yet. That would be Double D and JV. So anyway, we went in their apartment, took their Christmas tree, took all their presents, brought it over, set it up in our place, took all their decorations off the door. That was all around the door. They had decorated a little Christmas tree. And when they came home, we had all their decorations. And I never saw John Vella get mad, but he wanted to kill me. He goes, "You rotten!" He couldn't believe that we could be that bad and steal all their Christmas decorations. So then they took it all back. And you ain't messing with John Vella or Dave Darby. They were big boys. So anyway, they came in our place, took everything back, and then they declared war on us. So, oh my God, anything they could do to screw with us, they did.
Phil Villapiano is our guest. Hey, Phil, you win the Super Bowl with Vella. Vella gets a ring. He ends up opening Vella's locker room in Castro Valley. Fans were able to go to his store or go on his business road trips. He would take fans on the road, bus trips, and fly them around. How cool was that a Super Bowl 11 winner was smart enough to understand that the fans needed to travel on the road, and he helped them do that?
Exactly. JT, and that was back before anybody thought of that. Now, my God, you've got travel agents everywhere. But John, let alone the Vella's locker room, he went to work for a regular travel agent and decided to start booking trips. And he did it in, he had bus trips to LA and he did everything a Raider fan would want to do. And then, him and my buddy Jimmy Adams back in New Jersey, it was like one-stop shopping. Call up and you get tickets for the game, you get dinners, you get hotel, you get it all. And that was John's side job. And, we used to congratulate him. And then I remember in one game in particular, then when they were playing the Falcons, and John calls me and says, "Hey, Phil, you by any chance you going to the game?" And, he would actually give me a couple $100 to show up and smooth with his people, which was so good. So, he let us guys make a couple bucks, but he was a smart guy. He was running the whole show. So I give him total credit for that. And the Vella locker room, oh my God. What what he did, and it was so beautiful. I mean, naturally, Al Davis had to try and, we can't say anything bad about Al in this situation, because he actually had Amy Trask go to Johnny and say, Johnny, look, we got to compete with you or join us, So he had the opportunity to join in the Raider Image before the Raider Image.
Yeah, and look at Raider Image now. It's an absolute monster. Last time I saw you, it was at Morris Bradshaw's Celebration of Life. You were wearing that white coat like Mark Davis wears and Mr. Davis wore before you. Hey, Phil, before you go, just last thing. I know it's hard when you and your teammates from that particular team pass on, and I don't know what you guys do privately, but I'm sure each of you individually have a text group. You talk to each other, because when one drops, all you guys are affected by it, right?
Yeah, JT, it is such a shame. And I want to say Art Thomas, because Art and JV also did the auctions and all that stuff, and they were in business together. And Art has been very, very loyal to JV because, he lives there, and he was with the night before, he sent out a little group text that this could be the last night for JV because, he knew, and, he was in hospice. So, yeah, we do have a group text. We will, we're all doing JV stories this morning, and it really hurts to lose a great guy, but he's in a better place, JT, that, CTE or Alzheimer's or whatever you want to call it. It's all the same thing, I think.
Right.
I went to see JV when, Morris, when they had the celebration of Morris's life, which you gave that great talk. I loved it. And representing Freddie, and, it's just, God, it hurts, but we're all in this together. We all knew what we were doing. We all, we had no clue about CTE, and that all came about after we all retired. So hey, we live it. And I just told you, I'm down here at the Cleveland Clinic, and I think I just got done with the. They did the brain scan yesterday, and I just got done with the doctor. So I was kind of teasing. I think I'm gonna play on in the fourth quarter.
You are. You got a long. The fourth quarter hasn't started yet, Fu. You're getting a water break in the beginning of the third. I'll follow up with you after the show. Love you for doing this.
Love you. Bye, JT.
All right, Phil Villapiano. What a nice treat for him to call in. Breaking news: Ian Rappaport. The Raiders and Geno Smith have agreed to terms on a new deal to better compensate him for his play after a blockbuster trade. Smith gets a 2-year extension in a deal done by Wasserman. Vegas locks up their quarterback, Ian Rappaport, 18 minutes ago. It's a 2-year, $85.5 max value extension with $66.5 million guaranteed, according to Ian Rappaport. So that is there right now. And it's Ian Rappaport or Adam Schefter. We'll make it official when the Raiders put it out there. So we're off and running here. We knew it was going to take time to get the Geno deal dotted and crossed. It is now. Chris in West Oakland on the life of John Vella. Hello, Chris.
Hi, JT. Real quick on that. I think 2 years is fair. I was a little skeptical about 4 or 5, but I'm at the point of the year now, JT. You know me. I'm too into basketball. And I'm burnt out on draft free agency. Let's get to the draft. I'll call more in the coming weeks about what I think, what they should do and all that. But one other quick thing before John Vella, I want to correct you about one thing when you were talking about the Dodgers and the games being over in the 6 foot. You forgot about the bearded 6'2" pitcher with the 25-year-old girlfriend in the stands. You forgot about him. And also the reason why the Dodgers will never win 5 in a row, and the reason they probably haven't won 3 or 4 the last 5 years, 2 words, Dave Roberts. They will never win. Dave Roberts can screw up a pitching staff faster than anybody. He was on the verge of doing it last year, but the damn Yankees couldn't catch the ball in Game 5 to extend that series to see where it would have gone. But that's all I said. John Vella, look, man, we're losing these guys left and right, and it's a shame. And you're right about this guy. You talk about criminally underrated. He just happened to play across from maybe the greatest tackle certainly in the conversation, the greatest left side of a line in NFL history. But make no mistake about it, this guy was as good as they come. The great Mean Joe Green and Jack Lambert once said, the toughest guy they ever faced, everybody talks about showing up, Shaw. They were all scared of John Vella. One time Lambert came in, Vella pushed him over a pile, got back up. Vella slapped him in the head twice. Lambert saw who it was, went back to the huddle. And again, it's just a shame we're losing these guys because as great as Upshaw and Shell and Otto, they're all, two of the three are gone now. We tend to forget George Beeler, who's still with us, and how great John Vella was. Remember, Snake was a left-hander. Vella protected his blind side, not Art Shell, and Snake almost never got touched. So I know we're up against him, my friend. We're doing this way too often. I guess it's just what happens when we get older with our friends, our aunts, our uncles. You start losing people you grew up with, and literally it is a part of our childhood. But again, there was none better on the right side than John Vella. Once a Raider, always a Raider. And you're right, he opened a Raider locker room here in Pleasant Hill. He'd be in there working a register, just talking to fans like a normal employee. The guy was such a nice guy, huge man with a set of hands on him that looked like a ham with fingers. I wouldn't have wanted to tangle with this guy. So like you said earlier, man, shout to Crown Royal in honor of the great John Vella. And as always, what a privilege and honor it is to follow the great Phil Villapiano. And like you said, I certainly hope we have this treasure around for a few more decades because there's nobody that gives a Raider nostalgia interview like the great Foo. Thank you, my friend. Oh, by the way, I'll call you on Monday. Duke by double figures over everybody. If this team doesn't get it done, they're UConn a year ago with more NBA talent. I just don't see Duke getting beat in the tournament. We'll talk again on Monday.
Yep.
Thank you, my friend. Talk to you later.
Yes, and Monday I'll be on for the national championship as I have been for over 25 years. I'll be on Sirius XM for the national championship game. I got Florida beating the Dukies. 702-365-9200. Modelo, the official cerveza of the Raiders and the official beer of fans with a fighting spirit. Modelo, rooted in the heart of Raider Nation. Drink responsibly. Imported by Crown Imports, Chicago, Illinois. Modelo is a proud partner of our show. I'll get to everybody. I move Harry Ruiz back about 15 minutes. He'll join us at 12:40, 12:45. Kevin Bollinger, Dana Wagner, and we're paying tribute again today to the late, great John Vella. All right. Cisco, I'll get you next. You're good.
When we get Cisco, I'll call Harry.
Yeah.
That'll be about 40 anyway.
Right. Yep. What's up there, man? How's everyone doing in the chat? I got a new buddy of mine, Johnny Mack, one of my best friends, is visiting town. He invited me to an event tonight, and I told him, hey, man, get in the YouTube chat. He's in there. So I appreciate my buddy Johnny Mack, who's able to watch the show, and everybody else who comes in there, and we're chipping away. Oh, we're bundling today, Bobby. We're bundling commercials today, huh? Beautiful. Yep, Geno Smith gets his contract extension. We knew it was coming. I am not shocked.
Stuck in a timeshare. These are real facts about the timeshare industry and your options. Chuck Patel, founder of Westgate Financial Group,
Okay, yep.
that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-600-9595. 800-600-9595. 800-600-9595. Hey golfers, get ready to hit the links for a great cause. Join us for the 4 Youth Second Annual Golf Tournament at Royal Golf Club at Red Rock. It all benefits the Children's Foundation of Las Vegas. Bring your foursome for a $50,000 hole-in-one cash giveaway. 2 par 3 hole-in-one contests.
Hello, Fabian. Yes, writer Paul, Hunter, I'm ready for the draft too.
Register now at cflb.org. That's cflb.org, and we'll see you on
Joe Romano. Hey, Joe. Wow, that's my new guy. Joe's there. I met him from Port Jeff. Pleasure meeting you on the Norwegian cruise. What a time. Look at Joe Romano, who grew up with my buddies from Port Jeff, John Butler, Chris McCrary, all my guys back then. Good to see you, Joe. Welcome to the YouTube channel, and please spread the word, Joe. You are a good new friend. Joe was a great guy I met on the Norwegian Bliss, no doubt about it, and his wife. How'd you end up getting home, Joe? I got my ass kicked, man. I got a little bit of a head cold and chills. I got my ass kicked for a few days, but I'm coming out of it. Yeah, Bobby, my wife's birthday today. We've been married 25 years. So shout out to my wife, who was at lunch with her girlfriends today. Her girlfriends are taking her to lunch. My son and I will take her out tonight for a quick little cocktail and dinner. Thank you for the Phil Villapiano call. It was all Phil. I had nothing to do with it.
And while we're at it, have my guys perform our first rejuvenation. Keep your heating system running smoothly all winter long. Visit Gettle.com. GOETTL. Low concrete drain. It's hard to spell.
When your life has
Okay, Cisco's still holding.
Yep.
because someone was distracted or drunk, or some company put their profits over your safety, you need an experienced,
No way.
passionate
I can't
lawyer to
imagine
take
that.
on the stress of dealing with the insurance companies and big corporations, so you can focus on your health and well-being. I'm Justin Watkins with Battleborn Injury Lawyers. We focus on excellent results and unparalleled customer service. Outsource your stress to us. Call me today at 766-1400 at Battleborn.
Geno Smith, it's the day, Bobby. We finally got the Geno Smith deal.
By the Casta Verde Law Group. If you get injured in an accident, call 702-222-9999.
Dave Roberts can hardly watch. Here's the 1-2 pitch from Bueller. Got him swinging! That's it! It's a World Series win for LA! They've done it! They finished the job and give Los Angeles the parade it's been waiting for! A swarm of Dodgers on the right side of the infield. Grown men but children again. Living out their dream.
Dodgers radio, that hurts. I'm a Yankee fan, that hurts. Turn it up. I'm wearing my Stones shirt today. Today's my wife's birthday. My wife and I met at a Stones concert. I love my wife. She's the best of the best of the best. Happy birthday to my wife today, who's out to lunch with her girlfriends and better not be watching or listening to this and should enjoy her birthday today. So happy birthday to my wife, and thank God I have her, and it's a great day as we celebrate within our family. So I hope everybody's having a good day today. Yes, thanks to everybody in our YouTube channel there. Got some new friends from the Norwegian Bliss who were able to, Joe Romano, people I met on the cruise. I met a lot of new Raider fans on the cruise that we just were at last week. At this time last week, I was cruising through Cabo and Mazatlan, man, and that was pretty special. Cisco wants to check in, our great friend of the Black Hole. What's happening, Cisco?
JT, first and foremost, welcome back. Talking to a lot of you guys. You guys got sick over there, man. So glad you guys, hopefully everybody's well again. And, hey, happy birthday to the lovely Julie, man. Your wife's amazing.
Thank you.
Just like you, and got to give her a little shout out. But, hey, man, the topic at hand, Mr. Vella, God, what a guy. Was lucky enough to kind of meet him. He was actually the first Raider alumni that I ever met. We had his locker room in Castro Valley. I was a young, God, how old was I? I was 17. And we got wind over in San Francisco in my area that Vella had a store and that he was selling Oakland Raider gear. And we were like, whoa, okay, we got to go. Because at that time, as you know, the team was playing in LA and all we could get is just regular Raider gear that just said Raiders, or everything said Los Angeles. And us being loyal to the soil up here in the north, we valued the Oakland Raider gear. So we would go there. And I saw guys picking up jerseys. And I was like, oh, wow. But they were all like actual player jerseys. that he would have custom made for you. And at the time, my favorite player was Howie Long, who obviously, as we all know, wore the same number as Vella, 75. And I wanted one that said Oakland because we were starting to make trips down to L.A. So I obviously wanted to represent as an Oakland Raider fan. And I asked him, I said, hey, can I get a jersey? And I wasn't sure if he was going to make it. So I had to kind of spoof him up a little bit and juice him up and say, I want to get 75 after you, and I want to have Oakland put on the back. And he looked at me and grinned, and he said, I can do that. And, just coming in after that and buying more gear, picking up my jersey, we got to be, get friends, I'll say that. I didn't have his number or anything like that, but just a swell guy, started remembering me. Then, we went on a couple trips to LA, the bus trips that you guys talked about to LA to watch some games. And then him telling me about the Super Bowl parties at Scott's for the Super Bowl team, and got to meet, everybody there from Phil. I think that's probably when we first met, to the Snake, to Clarence Davis. I mean, everybody. Ben Davidson, everybody that was there. And it was just a great thing. And, it is a tremendous loss, Vella. I mean, my son got to meet him at some event when he was a little boy. And he took off his ring and put it on him. And my son was scared because he see this big gentle giant coming down on him. And he's handing him his ring and putting it on. I go, put it on. And he put it on. And I have the picture. I got to dig it out. But, yeah, man, just had to call in on the show, man. John was just a great, great guy. And he's going to be dearly missed.
Absolutely, Cisco. Appreciate you, brother. Thanks a lot for calling in. That's what we're here to do. We're here to say stories, and you got to know John really well, and that's really important. And that's brought to you by the Black Hole. The Black Hole is home to football's most notorious fans with over 40 chapters worldwide. Become a new member. Be a diehard Raider fan. 20% off all website purchases. Theblackhole.com to be a lifetime member. Harry Ruiz, the Latino voice of the Silver and Black, and also a diehard Dodger fan. It's kind of a two-prong interview here, Harry. We'll get to the Raiders, but will your Dodgers ever lose a game? What's going on here?
I mean, I've been joking around on social media saying that they're going to go 162-0, but it's baseball. We know that that's going to be practically impossible. So we're not going 162-0, but my prediction is 111 wins. So that's going to be pretty damn good. In my opinion, that should have them with the best record in baseball for like the fourth time in the last 6 years. So that would be good enough. And then you got to win the World Series, man. That's with the way they've spent money the last two off seasons. It's not, make it to the World Series. No, it's World Series championship or bust.
It looks like one of the biggest locks that I've seen since the Yankee dynasty of the late 90s, where you just know ahead of time. And then, the Red Sox, when they were starting to win and they won their chunk in the early 2000s, you started to say, well, they're going to be there every year. But this is a little bit different for your Dodgers here now, because there is no weakness. And usually all baseball teams have a little bit of a weakness. It's usually the bullpen or middle relief or the bench. You don't have a pinch hitter coming off the bench. I don't recall a team that's ever had no weaknesses recently. They're loaded in every category.
Yeah, I was there at opening day, actually, exactly a week ago. Last Thursday, I was out in Los Angeles for opening day, and Blake Snell didn't look great. He didn't look very good. But then the bullpen comes in and practically retires every single guy they faced, and the offense, they got the hits right on time to be able to get that win. And it's like, okay, that's great. And then you look at last night, they were losing 5-0 in the top of the second inning, and they still were able to get a win, coming back in the eighth inning with a double from Max Muncy, who hasn't been doing great, but he was able to come in clutch. And then you got Shohei Ohtani. It was meant to be on his bobblehead night to get that home run. And man, I mean, there's literally no weakness right now, JT. And you can even look at it at a certain way. The Padres, they're 7-0. They got one less win than the Dodgers, but I feel they're one injury away from collapsing. The Dodgers, they could lose one or two starting pitchers, and you can go over to AAA. Tony Gonsolin is pitching tonight. You got Bobby Miller pitching in 2 nights, and he's been doing great. You got Ha-Seong Kim, a South Korean who they just signed in this offseason. He's been killing it out there. They're just waiting for an opportunity to come up to the big club when the moment arises. It's crazy.
Harry Ruiz joins us as the breaking news breaks. It's a 2-year deal, $85.5 million max value for Geno Smith, $66.5 million guaranteed. So here we go, Harry. You call the games. You'll be in the booth. And Geno Smith, what do you like about this? It's a short-term deal, but I think it puts a lot of intensity and pressure on Geno to get here and win quickly.
Yeah, if you add it to the deal that he came to Vegas with, that has him under contract with the Raiders through 2027. So you can look at it that way. You got the quarterback to build with this veteran for the next 3 years. And then you look at the deal, the kind of money that he's going to be getting. You compare it to the other quarterbacks in the league. If you go with the average per year, he's like top 15 in the league. If you go with guaranteed money, he's like top 16 in the league. So the Raiders don't break the bank. Just you go over and you look at his stats the last 3 years. He's been the starting quarterback that has been able to get winning records for his teams. And you look over at what Pete Carroll spoke about him during the owner meetings this week. He's a guy that was benched, or he was sitting in the bench for 5-6 straight years. So you don't have that wear and tear in his body. So yes, he's going to turn 35 this year, but at the same time, you don't look at him on the field as a slow 35-year-old player. No, you see him as an agile player, a guy that, yeah, he took 50 sacks last year, but he didn't miss any time on the field. So I like the signing. I like the extension. And the Raiders, they don't close the book on potentially being able to pick somebody in the draft and have him ready for the future. Speak about 2 years down the road, 3 years down the road, or 4 years down the road.
Yeah, Harry Ruiz is our guest, Latino voice of the Silver and Black. You nailed it there. So with 2025, 6 and 27, with him being on the books, the Raiders have a ramp up with him. If they decide to go for a wide receiver or a running back, you got Geno in the absolute prime of his career, exactly for what you said, the 5+ years that he didn't play as a backup, didn't have the wear and tear, how comfortable he is with Pete Carroll. John Spytek loves this move here. And that leads us to the draft, Harry, and we'll have you on probably one more time before the draft on the 24th. You talk to a lot of Raider fans. What are they telling you about Ashton Genty, Ted McMillan, a wide receiver? There's some good defensive players out there, even a cornerback. What are you suggesting the Raiders should be looking at in that first pick overall?
And heck, a lot of fans are also bringing up Shedeur Sanders and wanting to get him if he drops to number 6. There's the positive thing right now is the Raiders set themselves up in a position where they're not in the same spot as last year, where they were in 13 and they were hoping that a quarterback would drop to them, and you had 6 picked in the first 12 draft picks. Now they're in a position where, hey, if a quarterback doesn't drop to 6, you're in best player available mode, and you're going to be able to either get an elite defensive tackle in the form of Graham, an elite running back in the form of Genty, an elite cornerback in the form of Will Johnson. You got great opportunities to be able to pounce. So you're even in the position where if somebody offers you a great haul of draft picks, either this year or next, you can either even drop back in the draft and still get a very good player that can be a contributor in day one when he steps in the building. So the Raiders, I mean, they're in a great spot, JT. Of course, it would be even better if they were a number 1 or number 2, but they're a number 6. It's an elite position right now, considering that more than likely 2 quarterbacks are going to be taken in the first 5 picks.
Overall, your opinion on some free agency? Kuntz is back. Max is extended. Christian Wilkins is coming back healthy. 2 new linebackers, including Devin White, a player that I've been a real big fan of, someone that I watched play over the last 4 or 5 years, but especially the early years in Tampa. He was an absolute beast, still very young. I just don't know how great he's going to play because he didn't play great last year, but John Spytek knows him so well, and maybe he can get a lot more out of him.
And he's only 27 years old. JT, I want to start this off saying I'm a huge fan of the guys that left, and specifically speaking about Trayvon Merritt, who I called his whole career with the Raiders, specifically talking about Robert Spillane and Nate Hobbs, which is the same case. I was there when he got drafted. But at the same time, you look at the signings that the Raiders did for the value that they got. They didn't overpay for players. They're setting themselves up for success, not only potentially in 2025, but also 26, 27, 28. And that's something where, folks,
have to focus on. Man, you look at Robert's numbers, he led 2 franchises in tackles in 2022 and 2023 and was part of a rotation in the linebacker room in 2024 with the Steelers, the same team that the Raiders got Robert Spillane from 2 years ago when everybody said, Robert, who? Who is Spillane? And then he comes and kills it with the Raiders. And Landon Roberts, he's a 10-year vet, or he's going to be playing in his 10th season, and he knows all the ins and outs from being with defensive-minded coaches like Bill Belichick in New England, like a Mike Tomlin in Pittsburgh. Now he's going to be playing with Pete Carroll and Patrick Graham with the Raiders. And you can speak the same kind of situations with Jeremy Chin, who killed it last year with Washington. So I'm the type of person who, instead of just saying, Jeremy, who? I go, okay. I look over Jeremy Chin's past couple of years in the league and be like, okay, the Raiders got a pretty good solid signing for 2 years for what you would have had to pay for 1 year with Trayvon Merrick. And you go up and down those signings and you can say, hey, that's something that the Raiders can work on for this year and the future. So, of course, I look at it with silver and black glasses, but at the same time, if I were neutral, I would say, hey, the Raiders had a pretty damn good free agency pickup haul right now.
All right, Harry, what are you working on at Raiders.com for the Raiders and what you're doing on the site there?
Yeah, no, we're doing coverage all week long in Spanish for Raiders.com/Espanol at Los Raiders Oficial on Instagram and on Facebook. Next week, I'm more than likely going to go in to film talking about what's coming up with the draft, or if we get a press conference in the next couple of days with Geno Smith speaking about that. But we'll be there. And also tonight, I'll be there at MGM Grand Garden Arena, the USC Trojans, the basketball team. They're going to be playing in the new tournament. And I was there 2 nights ago. I'll be there tonight as well.
Great, Harry. Thanks for coming on. Appreciate you.
Of course, JT. And by the way, I'll be there at Dodger Stadium next Friday picking up my bobblehead too.
Oh, great. I didn't know you like bobbleheads too. I appreciate it. Take care, buddy.
Hey,
yeah.
Memorabilia, brother.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, I love you, man. I'm getting a lot of heat, Bobby, for I'm a grown ass man. I don't collect toys, bobbleheads, but I understand why some men do. Okay, so again, I'm getting a little shrapnel back at me. I'm getting some shrapnel back at me, but I'm okay. Hey, I got a big announcement, though, quickly. La Casa Cigars and Lounge at Tivoli Village is proud to let everybody know that they're in the process of moving next door and reopening in a new, modern, great location. The new La Casa is going to be incredible. I walked it. I saw it. Live local entertainment 7 nights a week. Wait till you see the spot they picked up and what Mike's doing at La Casa Cigars at Tivoli Village. It truly is fabulous.
It's the morning tailgate.
You got about 3 minutes on the other side.
Okay. Harry taking a shot at me for ripping the bobblehead boys. Okay. All right.
If you really want the thing so bad, go buy one on eBay like everybody else.
I collect jerseys. I collect like really high-end jerseys and baseballs.
The high-end.
I don't collect plastic bobbleheads, I don't. Kids do. If you're a grown-ass man and collect little plastic bobbleheads and you're 40 years old, okay. I don't do that. So maybe I should shut my mouth, but I don't shut my mouth. So that's it. So again, if I had a collection of bobbleheads, I would give them to a kid or I'd give them to my kids. That's what I would do. All right, everybody. Yes. Oh, I've been drinking NyQuil at night. So quick little update because I've had this congestion coming off the cruise. And I've been taking NyQuil, man. And it really is a fabulous product. It really is a tremendous product. It works perfectly. Take that shot of NyQuil, a little bit more than the shot, a little bit more. Sleep like a baby, man. Sleep like a baby. Wake up, you feel better. What a tremendous product. I don't know what else competes in that space. Dayquil, NyQuil, whoever competes in that space, but it's a really good product. Men collect hats. I have a lot of hats, Snow Raider. I do have a lot of hats. I have too many hats. It's one of the things my wife kind of reminds me of. Kind of keep your hats in line, put them away, put them behind something, because hats could be all over the house. I would. Would I like a Max Crosby bobblehead? Sure, I would, but I wouldn't wait in freaking line 7 hours for it. What don't you understand? I wouldn't wait in line 7 hours for a toy that cost 30 cents to build in China. Am I fighting with people over this topic? If someone gave me a Max Crosby bobblehead, I would enjoy it. I'd be like, no, great, here it is. But I wouldn't wait in line bleeping 6 hours for it. That's all I'm saying.
Buy the damn thing on eBay like a grown-ass.
Buy it on eBay like a grown-ass man on a credit card. Have it delivered to you. Robitussin, Joe Romano says. Yes, Joe. Yeah, Joe, that last party I emceed on the Spice H2O deck, and I was, I couldn't even get a beer to my mouth. I was just kind of hit the wall. But what a great job Seaside Events did in Norwegian Bliss. What a great job they did putting on that cruise, man. Found a cool picture. I was going through some of the pictures. Remember, I'm on Facebook at JT the Brick on Facebook. You can see a lot of the pictures that we were able to put up there. This is me with some of the guys. That is Donald Penn on the left, Roland Williams, Lamar. Who else do I have here? Yeah, we got Lamar. Oh, Jacoby Ford. Oh, and Grant Irons. Margarita.
Enjoy the action poolside on a massive LED wall or kick back under cantina lights. Eat, sip, watch. Patio's lively outdoor atmosphere will give you your fix for bold flavors and good times. Patio, Resort 84.
All right, here we go.
Oh, I got to buy my wife a birthday card and some flowers. Yes. Got to run some errands after the show. 10 casinos across the valley. Don't let the game get out of hand. Please bet responsibly.
Welcome back to the JT the Brick Show, brought to you by the Black Hole. Become a member of football's most notorious fans.
There's a lot of discussion about going back to the previous rule, back to pre-2004. The reality of it is, I think that's makes a lot of sense in many ways, because I think it expands it beyond just that single play. There are a lot of plays where you see someone pulling or pushing somebody that are not in the tush-push formation that I think do have an increased risk of injury. And so I think the committee will look at that and come back in May with some proposals.
Yeah, they're going to get rid of the tush-push. The Eagles are too good at it. We're getting softer and softer by the day. So if some team does something so great and everybody else can't, we'll just cancel it. The cancel culture of what's happening with the tush-push. JT, back with you. I've been sending a lot of our locals, but especially our listeners who listen all around the world on Raider Nation Radio when they come to Vegas. They know to go to Resorts World if they want to watch sports. Doghouse Saloon at Resorts World, the best views to watch the game, a sports book on site to place your bets, incredible food, drink specials there. They also have Red Tail, which is a wide open space where you can kick back, play games, watch the games there also. Right next to the Gatsby's Cocktail Lounge, where you can raise the bar with a range of vintage cocktails and wines there. So if you haven't been to Resorts World and you want to watch the National Championship semifinal coming up on Saturday, or the National Championship game on Monday, okay, NCAA March Madness, go check out Resorts World, proud partner of our show. They do such a great job with us. We love going to Resorts World. We thank them for everything they do with us. If you want to get through to the show to talk about the life that was John Vella, I can't tell 50 stories. I don't have 50 John Vella stories. That's why I have a talk show. You might have one. If you want to do that, Phil Villapiano called in the first hour. Hour number 2 of the show, Kevin Bollinger, sports director of Fox 5. Lots happened here recently in Vegas. We got a new UNLV football and basketball coach. The Golden Knights are in the playoffs. The Raiders just signed Geno Smith today. Who's going to be my first caller that welcomes Geno Smith to the Raider Nation? It's official. It wasn't official. It was not official. It was official now. Adam Schefter, Ian Rappaport, it's out there. Geno Smith on a 2-year contract extension with the 1 year he had left on the deal that the Raiders traded for. Every single person who covers Geno recently, that would be the Seattle people, nobody else, and the national media, Tony Romo, Tom Brady, whoever did the games, they're all praising Geno as being accurate, being mobile, being a guy who can make all the throws. He's your quarterback. In the long history of Raider quarterbacks, dating back to Oakland, the first, Tom Flores, to the most recent, Gardner Minshew and Aiden O'Connell, there's a new quarterback in Vegas, and his name is Geno Smith. Put some respect on that name. Let's go, Raider Nation. Yep. I'll stick around here on the chat. Got nowhere else to go. Nowhere else to go. Yes. You got it. Yep. And on cue, Bobby went and had a dart. He went to have his cigarette. Man, he really focuses on that dart, man. That cigarette, that one top of the hour dart, man. Man, he can't wait for it.
I was sleeping in my car, scared and alone, wondering where my next meal would come from.
All right.
Experience no child should ever endure. But I got through it. Thanks to the generosity of thoughtful people.
What's the weather like today where you're at? Let me double check for here today because we are in Vegas. So here's what I have on my phone. Norman, Oklahoma, where my son went to Oklahoma, 56. Tempe, Arizona, where my son's a senior at ASU, 65. St. Augustine, Florida, where my sister-in-law and brother-in-law live, 82 degrees. Los Angeles, 64 in LA. Ooh, Geneseo, you know where that is? That's where I went to college. Geneseo State, 64. That's warm. Scottsdale, 65 degrees. What about Vegas? Where's Vegas here? San Diego, 61. My hometown of Massapequa, 61. And Vegas, 56. Oh, let me get the stock market closed. I got up early and watched the stock market. The stock market is down 1,600 points. One of my stocks were down $52 today. What a day today, man. Talk about working for free. I got my face ripped off today like everybody else in America. I don't get into politics. I don't give a crap. But, man, today was one of the worst days in American history. Today, April 3rd, 2025, was one of the worst days in American history for the financial markets. Where were you as the Dow Jones Industrial is closing down 1,600 points? How about that? What a day on Wall Street with absolutely no rally. That's what I'll tweet out. What an absolute massacre.
Listen, we're here to help you out. And when you're in a pinch, you're already stressed. So we make the entire process as easy as we can.
Thanks, Chuck. Dollar Loan Center has over 60 locations. Or you can go to don'tbebroke.com and get fully funded from the company.
With no late day rally. Ugly. You know, Messy Jesse says buy. The problem, Jesse, is a lot of people don't have money to buy. That's what people are missing the point. Hedge funds have money. Banks have money. The common American doesn't have $40,000 sitting around and checking to buy. I do. Maybe you do. That's great. The average American who lives in an apartment, who doesn't have stocks, or lives in a home and lives month to month, they don't have 20 grand sitting on the sideline, their last 20,000 to invest in the stock market. So when people say, oh, it's a buying opportunity, for who? Yeah, for a hedge fund, for a big company. Sure. Yeah, I would agree. I'm going to buy some stuff tomorrow too. I usually wait 3 days, but don't act like there's a lot of people running around America that got a whole bunch of cash flush on the sideline. I'm going to buy stocks today.
All right, here we go. Talk for a couple minutes. We'll get going.
Yep. Yeah, got to keep some dry. Well, good. Look, wow. How would it have been if you kept stuff dry a month ago and bought something? How would you felt today?
No calls.
Okay.
It's the JT the Brick Show, broadcasting live from the Finley Cadillac Performance Studio.
Raiders bring a blitz. He takes it off the middle, and he's wrapped up from behind. Max Crosby.
Your silver and black home to sound off for over 25 years.
Open at the 35, racing to the 20, 10, touchdown Raiders.
And now, here's JT the Brick.
Welcome back, everybody. It's hour number 2 of the show. JT here in the broadcast booth of Lotus Broadcasting. Brought to you by Grimaldi's Pizzeria, the best pizza I've ever had. 4 locations in the Valley. I get the Brooklyn Bridge, the Caesar salad. They got unbelievable desserts. I got a wine list. I like Boca Park. Maybe you like a location at the Venetian Palazzo. You could head out over on Eastern. Great locations throughout the Valley here. Head on out to Grimaldi's. The big breaking news today, other than the stock market collapse, the worst day in American history. How about that? How about that coming out of nowhere? Really not coming out of nowhere, actually. Really actually not coming out of nowhere, but I'm more of a sports talk show. The breaking news today is Geno Smith is official. So who's going to be the first Raider fan ever to call me after 28 years to welcome Geno to the show? Anybody? Was everybody still on vacation on the cruise with me? I thought when we all got off the cruise, we were back to work. Let's get some Raider fans to welcome Geno. And I do not know when the Geno press conference will be. They'll let me know. And as soon as we find out when the Geno press conference is, it'll be a big deal. You'll hear the press conference live, no matter when it happens, right here on the flagship Raider Nation Radio. The Raiders and quarterback Geno Smith have agreed to a 2-year, $85.5 million contract. That's a $66.5 million guaranteed contract extension. So divide 66.5, divided by 2 years, do the math. The Raiders have their quarterback for the foreseeable future. It is a big payday for Geno Smith, who deserved a big payday if he was going to leave Seattle and come with Pete Carroll. Tom Brady cleared this deal along with John Spytek, Pete Carroll. So everybody seems to be good with Geno. The first insider I talked to with the breaking news, of course, is Kevin Bollinger from Fox 5, their sports director. So here we go, Kevin, our first conversation as it's official. Here, the Raiders will make it official when they put it out, but it's all over. Geno Smith and the Raiders on a massive extension. How do you say it?
I see it as a great thing for the silver and black. You solidified the position that you had to get solidified here for the next couple of years. You got it really, I think, at a pretty fair price for the market right now, which gives them, some flexibility to build some more of that offense around Geno Smith. I just think it's a win-win with what the Raiders have now. 3 years, they know who their guy is right now, and now they can go out and get the other pieces that they need.
Yeah, Kevin, it's interesting. A lot of people, you cover basically Vegas, but you do a lot of national stuff because Vegas is a national city for sure. Same here with me. But the more and more people we talk about when it comes to Geno Smith, it's about the accuracy, the decision-making, the mobility. But the number one thing is how comfortable Pete Carroll is with this decision. And Pete's really looking at the entire team and wants this type of leader on the offensive side of the building.
No question. And they made that very clear from the first day they stepped into the building before Geno Smith was even part of the conversation as to what type of quarterback they wanted to have on this team and running this offense. And it's Geno Smith. I mean, it's they want somebody who can control things, not, turn the ball over a lot. And they also said they want to run the football. That's the next step in the process as well for them. But they certainly got the person that's going to kind of command that offense and that Pete Carroll trusts to handle things on the field, as well as being a great locker room guy, really. I mean, everything you hear out of Seattle is how much his teammates loved playing with him, and that's an important part of the process as well.
You nailed it. Kevin Bollinger, sports director, Fox 5. And look, Aiden O'Connell's a leader. Every opportunity he's had to lead this team, he stepped up there. He's been banged up a little bit. It didn't work out with Gardner Minshew. It didn't work out, with Jimmy Garoppolo. But they're trying to find some stability at this position. And hopefully we'll talk to you one more time before the draft coming up here on April 24th. But, Kevin, it looks to be, and we don't know what's going to happen because there's going to be a quarterback available at 6. But all accounts are now that the Raiders have the quarterback position solidified with Geno and Aiden in the building, and now could look at another offensive weapon, maybe a running back, to take this team to the next level.
No question. I mean, everything's pointing towards Genty out of Boise State, and he's somebody who can come in and make a difference right away. They also have some really good players that'll be available at holes that they need to fill. But John Spytek, another thing that he made very clear is we're not going to draft for need. We're going to take the best available, and this will be the first test of that when we get to that sixth pick at the end of April to find out exactly where they are on their standards. But should they go running back and do that? I mean, you have two huge pieces of that offense in place. You already have the tight end position set up, and then we'll see what they do if they add another receiver or two, and what they do with the offensive line as we move through the draft.
Yeah, Kevin, it really feels like the Raiders got to get out of the draft with a wide receiver who's big, tall enough, can high point the ball. So they can't have both at number 6. It's either running back or wide receiver. It could be a corner if they fall in love with it. But that wide receiver position is looming now because they didn't dive in heavy in free agency. We know Jacoby Myers had 1,000 yards. Brock Bowers puts up stats like a wide receiver one, which is pretty incredible here. But I still think that position is looming to help Geno Smith out once he gets here.
No question. I think that's something that's going to have to be addressed, and it can't wait until a little bit later on. There's a training camp cut or something for salary cap, and you bring in another veteran. I'd like to see them use somebody in some of those mid-round picks to get a potential impactful, but like you said, a wide receiver with that length that they can utilize. And there's still some wide receivers out on the free agent market as well that they could consider talking to as they move through this.
Kevin Bollinger, sports director, Fox 5. I don't know how much you looked into this, but when John Spytek spoke at the scrum at the owners meeting there, it seems like the offensive line is going to be open to competition at center, at guard. It's not like anybody has anything really locked down, I'm suggesting, other than Colt Miller there. So what do you see with this offensive line with Jackson Powers Johnson, who ended the year at center, but could play guard, and it looks like they're going to reevaluate everybody going forward?
Yeah, you kind of, we all, I guess, assumed and made the assumption that when they made the move in the offseason that it was kind of lined up for Jackson Powers Johnson to be the starting center and then, go out and address the others as necessary. That may not be the case with what they saw. I didn't pay as close attention as I wanted to with some of the stuff coming out of the meetings because I've been up in Sacramento with the A's with their first series. But, the stuff that I did see, I like the fact about competition, and that's what this, Pete Carroll's been all about, is competing every day. Nobody's safe. You got to go out and compete and practice every single day, every single week to keep your job, and they'll keep rotating guys in there until they get the right combination. And they did that in Seattle and kept doing it until it worked, and they'll do the same thing here.
Yeah, and Devin White was brought in to start. This guy's been elite. Now, not the last year and a half he hasn't been. And I don't know what the reason is on that, because when he played in Tampa in that Super Bowl run, he was one of the best overall athletes in the league, playmaker all around the football, and he's still not 30 years old. They got to get a lot out of him. That linebacker position without Spillane being in there, hopefully they nailed it with the 2 new ones they brought in.
Well, Spytek knows exactly what he can do. And, I remember when they signed Spillane, and there were some people, out on social media going, wow, I don't know about this guy. He turned out to be pretty darn good. They knew what they were doing there with that. I think that, in the way that the linebacker position has changed in the NFL so much over the last few years, you need that type of athlete in that spot. So I'm really excited. That's one of the most exciting things that I want to see through the OTAs and as we get into training camp is seeing what he does.
Kevin, you got some really good access being a partner of the Raiders here going forward. How excited are you for these OTAs and when the team starts coming together to see or to kind of be close to what Pete Carroll's going to do differently than Antonio Pierce, Rich Bisaccia, Josh McDaniels, John Gruden? Do you feel like it's going to look really different and unique there? Because everybody remembers how he did it in Seattle, and the talks of those Seattle OTAs and practices and competition are next level.
that's the thing that I think, everybody says, oh, you're excited to see this person on the field or this person. When you get to OTA, I'm excited to see Pete Carroll on the field. I want to see how he runs things.
Mm-hmm.
I want to get an up-close look at how things are going to be different from the previous coaching staffs that they've had there, and just see as they move through the process. Obviously, the early ones, you're going to be having a lot of guys coming in through the draft and everything else. But by the time we get to mandatory minicamp, things should be humming pretty good. And to me, getting that entire coaching staff the way they developed it, I want to see what they do in breakout sessions and how they're going to work through this whole thing. To me, that's the most exciting kind of, off the roster type of thing that I'm looking forward to.
Josh Pastner, you look at Mullen over on the football side here. A lot of change going on in Vegas over at UNLV. And as we touched on it, I believe last time, wondering what the money looks like, NIL, boosters. Is it a dry booster town? Do they need to find new boosters here and find new money for Vegas? The economy's taking a little bit of a hit. Tourism, we'll see what's going to happen here going forward. UNLV is at a very important crossroads, I think, in this program. They got two respected coaches who have won in the past, but kind of need a kickstart to start winning again. What are you hearing about the buzz on campus at UNLV?
Well, it all comes down to the NIL stuff. I mean, that's just the state of college sports now. And so they need to try and build up those coffers to go out and get the players that they need. And I think that they have the right coaches in place to once they get those players to be successful. So the interesting part for me is going to be how many of, this has traditionally been a basketball booster town in terms of money. But some of those people slid over to the football side when they started seeing some success there under Barry Odom. Are they going to slide some money back over to basketball? Are they going to be able to generate the new money that's coming into town as well? But if Josh Pastner, gets the money to go out and get some good players, he's to put together a good staff right now. And the way that the conference situation is going to be, there's no reason why they shouldn't be competing for a conference championship every year to get them into March Madness.
Yeah, and last one, the Golden Knights clinching a playoff spot here. We want them peaking at the right time. But as we know, when this team goes farther and farther in the postseason, it's because they're healthy and they don't peak too early. Exciting times over at the Fortress with this hockey team.
And getting Tomas Hertl back on the ice today during the morning skate, even though it was in a red non-contact jersey, that's a great sign for the Golden Knights, as he is going to get himself right back into shape. Looks like he'll be ready for the playoffs. Pietrangelo looks like he's going to maybe slot in and play again tonight. So getting all those guys back on the ice and getting a couple of games together before the playoffs start, huge. Now it's the scoreboard watching time. Win the Pacific and then see who ends up in that fight for the 7th and 8th playoff spot in the West, to see who their first round opponent is. And if they can win the Pacific, let Edmonton and the Kings duke it out for a potential second round matchup, but let those guys beat each other up. And those are the things that make this last couple of weeks of the regular season super exciting for Golden Knights fans.
Thank you, Kevin. We'll talk to you the week of the draft. Looking forward to your coverage.
You got it. Thanks, JT.
Kevin Bollinger, sports director, Fox 5. Fox 5 will be front and center. I'm sure they're going to be one of the first to get the exclusive on television with Geno Smith when they announce the press conference. $85.5 million in addition to the $31 million this year brings it to fully to a 3-year, $116 million at a $38.33 million average. That's the 16th highest paid quarterback in the league. I think that's fair when it comes to Geno. He's not a top 10 quarterback. He's not, but he has the ability to play within the top 10. He really can. Sports Rack puts out Geno Smith's 2-year extension with the Raiders makes him the 17th highest average paid quarterback in football. With the reported $66.5 million guaranteed, that ranks 17th. So that's where we're at. I'm good with this. I was never a guy that was all crazy about Geno, but over the last couple of years, I've been becoming more and more impressed with his play in Seattle. And for anybody who won more games the last 2 years than Matthew Stafford and Joe Burrow, that's impressive. So he's a winner. He works well with Pete Carroll. Pete's in charge. He's the football head coach. John Spytek signs off on it. And the key is Tom Brady, who's the quarterback legend, obviously agrees with this. It's fascinating when you think of that. Okay. Look, I'm a fly on the wall. I get some access here, a little bit more than some people do, but not on this one. And I don't know what went behind the scenes there over on Raiders Way to make this deal, but they nailed it. They got the guy they wanted to. They traded for him. They seeked him out. They traded for him. They got him, and they got him at a fair market deal. That's a good deal. That no one's sitting here now online going, oh, my God, they overpaid for Geno. Because they got him for a little bit less or a little bit more. Who cares? The deal falls right into what he's supposed to get. All right, so when we come back, we'll talk to Dana Wagner from News 3 LV. We are rolling today. Really good show. The guests and the calls have been amazing. We have a different audience the second hour of the show than we do have the first hour of the show. So I want to hear from some people in this hour who haven't been able to comment on John Vella passing away. Remember, these legends who die, they deserve more than one segment. So if you have a story about John Vella, if he was a friend of yours or a great moment in John Vella's history, today would be the day to drop it. And you can do it whenever you want, but today's good timing for that. But the breaking news on Geno Smith. We're the Raider fans that love this deal. If you don't love the deal, tell me about it. Tito's Handmade Vodka, made from corn and naturally gluten-free. Makes the good stuff for good times. It's my go-to vodka. Make Tito's your go-to, distilled and bottled by Fifth Generation Inc., Austin, Texas. 40% alcohol by volume. Savor responsibly. Thank you, everybody. Good day today. Good day today. Good day today. Thank you. Build up the YouTube. I always leave you by saying, what are you doing to build the YouTube channel bigger? Invite some friends. Invite some friends. Bring it to new people. You got people in your life that are on YouTube. All we need is to subscribe and like, and we're good. Got to get those numbers up. Be well, everybody. Have a great day. Happy birthday to my wife.
Don't miss unnecessary roughness weekdays at 2 on Radio.